Hey, Bev.
Hey, Sam. And why is the room filled with bubbles?
I I don't know, but it's kind of majestic and fun. I kind of like it. And I sense there's maybe a third person here. Did you leave the freaking door open again, Bev?
Always. I always leave the door open. I never lock it. I never close it. I guess I really like bugs. I don't know.
And we live in the country. Who locks their doors in the country?
Right?
So who do we have with us, Bev?
So we have Kathee with Messy Mildred. And I know what you're
Woo!
thinking. You thought her name was going to be Mildred, didn't you?
I thought it was going to be messy, but I don't know. 'Cause
Yeah,
the internet is a true representation of people. So
exactly.
welcome, Kathee. Woo!
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. And yes, that was me that snuck in your front door.
Input bubbles everywhere.
Yes, with bubbles and hair dryer in tow. That's for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Because we're ready for our chicken spa day. That's what's happening here.
I hope you are because I know it sounds like a really odd thing and everybody says that to me, but it is happening all across the country.
It
The world,
is.
actually. I will say even the world.
Hey, I washed some fluffy butts myself yesterday with some of your products. So,
Yay! Yay!
yes, it made my life a lot easier, but we'll get into that. First, we need to get into what's most important, and then that is what everybody is drinking. Because that's what we do here. We drink and we farm. And we wash fluffy butts, apparently. But,
Yeah. We do all sorts of things while we drink.
yes. So, Bev, what are you drinking today?
So I am drinking a West 6th Brewing Lemongrass American Wheat. And this is a wheat beer
Oh.
that was brewed with lemongrass. And it came from Lexington, Kentucky. I grabbed this out of my fridge because my friends, they still went to Lexington, even though I wasn't able to make it. And they brought me back beer. So I have good friends.
Oh,
And my shampoo is lemongrass. So
yeah.
that
Oh,
it's a
perfect.
theme. It is a theme.
Yes, I always try to have a theme, but usually I'm not very good at it.
Aw.
So, Sam, what are you drinking?
So I have a proposed new scent for Kathee here because I was not on theme. I'm drinking White Claw hard seltzer, which is way better than the Truly seltzer that I tried a couple weeks ago, and it's ruby grapefruit. So if you can ever do grapefruit, Kathee, that would be
Oh
pretty
my
fancy.
gosh, how yummy would that be? When you say seltzer, do you mean it's like bubbly seltzer?
Yeah, so like carbonated water essentially. I'm staying hydrated while I drink alcohol. So,
That's magical.
so what are you drinking, Kathee?
I do not know if you guys have heard of this. I'm sure you have, but it's called 19 Crimes.
Mm,
Have you heard of this?
yes, I have a
Okay.
bottle of it in my liquor cabinet right now.
Okay, it is mine and my husband's absolute favorite, and we typically get all the reds.
Okay.
And I am drinking a white right now. I'm assuming it's Chardonnay because it's called Hard Chard.
Oh.
And
I like
it's
that name.
yeah, it's super cute. And because of our time zone difference, it is noon here. So I'm kind of embarrassed that I am drinking at noon, but on a Friday, but I am. And the reason we love this so much is mainly my husband and I are both creatives, and so we love marketing. And the bottles for this, for 19 Crimes, are just stunning. The whole story behind them, the whole marketing aspect is truly brilliant. So, anyway, that's what I'm drinking right now.
Perfect. So I haven't busted into my 19 crimes yet, but I bought it because of the bottle and I was looking at it. I was like, this is so freaking cool. I need it.
It's amazing. Have you put your cell phone in front of it yet?
No.
So that is the creepy magic. If you take your cell phone and you have to do something, I don't know if you have to download an app or what, but if you hold it in front of the label, it friggin' comes to life and moves.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to try
Whoa.
that
It's
right after
amazing.
this.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool.
Now I can't wait. But I mean, I am very excited, Kathee, to have you on and that we get to ask you questions. But as soon as we're off of here, that's what I'm going to go do.
And then you'll have to like post it in our Instagram stories so that we can watch it. 'Cause I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
I'll have to have when my husband gets home, the first thing he's going to have to do is videotape my phone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Videotaping a
Yes.
wine bottle.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work. But we've done it before. It's really cool. You get a kick out of it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So I guess we should just, that we know what everybody is drinking in the middle of the day, we should just go ahead and get started. So Kathee, do you want to give us a little background on why you came up with this idea for a chicken shampoo?
Absolutely. I always wanted chickens growing up and never had them. And so it was not until I want to say 3 years ago for Mother's Day, I took myself to a farm feed center and brought some chicks home, and for Mother's Day for me, and and so we were super excited to have them, and they started growing up, and it was just like I just fell in love with them. I'm a huge animal fanatic, but chickens were a totally different level for me. We have every single pet imaginable, but these were different. And so as they got bigger, I would take them, like a lot of people right now, everywhere with me. Everywhere. We would go hiking at Mount Rainier. I took Mildred with me to Mount Rainier camping overnight. She did an amazing job. And when I would take her on all of these, trips and stuff with us, in addition to that, she sometimes would sleep in my bedroom. I have a perch, and my husband would always laugh at me, but I would bring the hens in, and they would sit up on the perch, and we'd have slumber parties. And so after like a while, I was like, I need to bathe them. I should bathe my chickens. I bathe every other pet I have. And I started Googling it, and I didn't see anything for chickens regarding shampoo. Now, I did see, which was called, what is it called? What is it? Like a fowl shampoo, or not even that, cleaner. Like it was very farm-like, but there was nothing for the urban chicken. A lot of us that are in our like 30s to 50 demographic, where we're putting chickens in our backyard and we have house chickens and we're taking them to Starbucks with us and all that kind of stuff. There was nothing really crazy cute and like something that smelled so great and wasn't filled with chemicals. So I decided, by trade, I'm an art director, so I create products. And so I was like, why, I should just do this. I should make a shampoo. And so it kind of started there. And I got laughed at along the way, as you can imagine, and, but I just really felt like there was a need for it because I was on Instagram and I started Messy Mildred, and that account, specifically for my hen Mildred, which was named after my grandmother who has passed, and she was messy because they're chickens. So I just called it Messy Mildred and didn't have the intentions of having shampoo when I started, but as I continued, I kept seeing people bathing their chicken. And I remember one night going to my husband and telling him what I was going to do, and he laughed at me, of course. And I was like, but there seems like there's a legitimate need because I keep seeing people bathe their chicken, whether it's for medical reasons or they're just dirty or chicks have pasty butt or whatever it is, it's happening. So why is there not a good shampoo for them, specifically for them? Like people are using dish soap, they're using dog shampoo, they're using people shampoo, baby shampoo. And I'm like, this sucks because chickens are so great. They need their own shampoo. Why would chickens not have their own shampoo in the first place? So so that's how it kind of hatched. I literally just created the lavender and lemongrass and put it out there only on Instagram right now, and was just did my first 6 months was just that first phase was to see if there was an interest, and it totally took off. So there was clearly people were waiting for something like this. So I'm super excited about it.
That's so awesome. And, I was really excited to hear that we were interviewing you because, I am a person, I bathe my chickens when they need it. I don't know if there's, something specific about what my chickens do or where I live. Because I know there's tons of people that don't bathe their chickens, but on Instagram we seem to see a lot of it. Maybe it's just like us crazy Instagram chicken ladies that wash our chickens. But I use Dawn dish soap on my chickens because I didn't know what else to use. Like they didn't come with an instruction book, but like, Dawn has like that picture of the little baby duck on the front of it. So it was like, oh, this must be what I'm supposed to use to clean them off. So why wouldn't we want to use dish soap? Like, is there something different in the ingredients?
Dish soap is, I did a lot of research on this, and I am very careful to the way I respond to this because I do not want to offend anyone, because it did happen where I did kind of explain to someone specifically on Facebook, which is a totally different monster compared to Instagram, and they were kind of offended. So I will say this.
Oh, don't worry about offending people. Okay. Be honest with us about why we don't want to. Yeah, because like I won't be offended because I just reached for dish soap because that was what I knew at the time. On our podcast,
absolutely.
We grow and learn based on what, like, we're only using the information that we have right now when we make our decisions. So we try not to beat ourselves up about past things. Yeah, so let us know why, because we want to know.
Yeah, okay, so I did research, and I whenever I'm doing anything with any of my product, I am always looking at the organic, naturopathic, grungy, hippie kind of way to do things. So I don't look to chemicals whatsoever. So when I started researching after I created the shampoo, I wanted to look into why did dish soap, specifically Dawn, start this whole thing, why everyone is calling out use Dawn, do not use Dawn. And it is great. Yes, you can use Dawn. That's fantastic. Dawn stepped in when that huge oil spill happened, and they were crazy helpful whenever it happened and all the birds were swimming around in oil slick. And Dawn really truly did that for birds. Got rid of it because it really does cut through grease. It does the exact same thing when I'm cleaning my pan that I just made pizza on. It's really, really a good product. But the problem with it is that it does contain chemicals, and Dawn dish soap, and I don't want to be quoted on this, but I did read, I believe it was NPR did an article on this, that there was one of the specific ingredients is created for Dawn by using a type of petroleum. So when they stepped in, they were helping the petroleum problem, but yet they still need that to create their product. So it's still, yes, it works and it's great, but I think people really saw that as when that spill happened and they stepped in as a company and helped. I don't have oil slick on my chickens. I don't need to use a product like a dish soap to get it. I will use that on my dishes, not any of my animals. I would prefer to work with something that is organic, completely plant-based, eco-friendly, all of those things. There is no petroleum whatsoever in the product. And it's geared towards chickens. Like, I have in mind when I'm using mine, which I know Dawn doesn't, even down to the essential oils, they're all organic and they're all based on the research I've done that even farmers have used for their chickens, like fresh stuff, like just hanging fresh lavender in a coop to be a insect repellent. The tea tree helping with wound, sores and stuff like that on a chicken. Lemongrass is the same thing. It's an insect repellent. All of them, especially the tea tree, is like insanely an anti-inflammatory, all that kind of stuff. Dawn doesn't do that. They're focused on cleaning dishes, and I use, I don't use it. I use organic stuff, but that's their focus. And so I try to educate people and just going, but what if there was something specifically geared, like the ingredients in there are specifically put together for chickens in mind? What would you choose? And I just think it takes a long time for people to come kind of out of that. But once you really do research on the whole Dawn movement, how they stepped in, I just think we can do better than that. I'm not saying it's not great, because it is, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because Bev and I have talked about before, I think when we were talking to First Saturday Lime, which is like the organic pesticide. It's not really a pesticide, but it's a pest barrier, kind of, keeps the flies away and things like that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how people used to use, or maybe still do use, WD-40 when chicken gets leg mites.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like it's different when it's like a product, like you're saying, that is specifically for chickens and it's thought out. And sometimes you can find products, especially with chickens, because there aren't a lot of actual chicken products out there,
Right.
compared to like dogs or cats or whatever. Sometimes you just have to do what you have or deal with what you have, like the Dawn. Definitely have used that before, but now that I am aware of this shampoo for both chicks and adult chickens, like that's absolutely what I want to use. But I think you kind of summarized that nicely, that it's not like the end of the world if you're using Dawn on your chickens.
Totally.
But
Oh my gosh, no. It's crazy. I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, people have been using it. I haven't read anything of a chicken like getting an outbreak from it or anything like that,
right.
One thing that I thought of when you were talking about the ingredients that you use, like our chickens are covered in feathers and they're really good at hiding illness or injury. So one of the things that you can think of when you're using a product like yours to bathe your chickens is like you could be helping an underlying issue that your chicken has that you're not even aware of because you have those ingredients in it that are, like calming and antiseptic and that keep the mites and the pests away. So that's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
reason to use that shampoo, because like Dawn doesn't have any ingredients like that. And if anything, it's probably kind of drying. Like, how your hands feel when you're done washing the dishes in Dawn. Like your chicken skin probably kind of feels like that when you're done washing them in Dawn.
Well, it's the same like my dogs. I guess what I get all spicy about this because it's like I'm so obsessed with chickens that I'm like, why is it okay? Like you just said, for you go into Petco or PetSmart, and there are just aisles of dog shampoo. And I went to my farm feed center out here. They have goat shampoo. They have horse shampoo. But why? I just don't. I never understood. Like there's. I think chickens, especially in the U.S. I know they're much further along in Europe than we are. I probably have more requests for chicken shampoo from Europe and Canada than anywhere. I mean, people just there are just I think they're used to them being pets, believe it or not. Like and I think a lot of that too is just bans in the US of not being able to, like, especially city limits, you can't have chickens, are being lifted over the last 5-10 years pretty quickly because it's becoming so common to have backyard chickens, and that is super awesome. And in doing so, people are, I think you're right, like a lot of chicken products are just popping up everywhere. But when I went in and I was like, how come I've got like 200 choices for my dog shampoo, but nothing for a chicken, which I treat kind of like my dog, but
Right.
very much so. People have them on leashes and everything else, but like I would not use dish soap on my dogs to bathe them, just because it's not the first place my brain goes. So I'm hoping to curve that, like for chickens as well. Again, not that it's like this harmful thing that's doing anything bad, because it's certainly not the case. I just feel like our chickens as pets is getting so, like, just more and more popular, and I just have such a passion for bringing people that have chickens products specifically for them, because they deserve it.
Yeah.
Dang it, they deserve it, you
Dang
all.
it. Yeah. I totally agree. And just because you're doing one thing one way for a while doesn't mean it's necessarily the best way or that you can't improve. So I'm super glad that you decided to, create Messy Mildred on Instagram. And then I think I even followed you before the shampoo came out. So when the shampoo came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. And I'm going to buy it because I want my chickens to smell like lavender and lemongrass instead of chicken shit. So So it kind of worked out perfectly. Why can't you have both? Why can't you have chickens running around and getting dirty, but then, they can be fancy and, you just do their nails and give them a little spa day too. I mean, come on.
Absolutely. Well, and I live in Seattle. It rains here all the time. So my chickens are constantly a hot mess. And so they need, and I have silkies, and they get poop and crap and just stuff from the ground stuck in their fur all the time that I literally cannot, I mean, especially on their feet with their feathers.
Oh, yeah.
Silkies are just a totally different breed. And so it's really, and two other things. I have always been, even with our dogs, like I always looked at bathing them as kind of this, it's such an intimate, it's like when you have a baby, like our two boys, and bath time was just this really sweet, innocent, fun time for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you always, the bubbles and the toys and it's, and there's just this nurturing part as a mom with that. And it's the same with my animals. There's parts where, like with the dogs, especially our German Shepherd, as she gets older, we do, massages down her spine and her hips and all that kind of stuff. And I found myself doing that with my chickens, and it was kind of this bonding experience with them, especially when they bathe. They would relax, and the more I give them a bath, the more they relax. And I think that, just that human touch for any animal helps them become calmer. Makes them, I think, more tame and all of that kind of stuff. And yes, there are chickens. I have one that cannot stand being bathed.
Yeah.
Dear Jesus, hates it, but everyone else is calm about it. And two, it gives me a chance, like you were saying earlier, to really, when I bathe, especially the silkies, it separates their fur and feather, and I can really see down to their skin. I can see their legs, and I just do this once over. Are there any wounds? Are there any pecks? Do we have any ticks? All that, because you're really scrubbing, and I use my fingers down their body and just feel for stuff. And so it's for me personally, it's much more than just getting the poop off of their fur. It's more than that. So
no, that makes sense. But I just wanted to comment on I got an order of 18 chicks this past week, and I think my brooder was running a little hot because 7 of them had kind of a range of very little to full on almost pasty butt.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with pasty butt before, but all I did was took a little of the chick shampoo, put it in a little container, and put some not hot, but warmish water in there, and just kind of, I would only have to soak their butt for probably 10 seconds, and then it would just come right out. And before, I would just soak it in either Dawn dish soap or regular water, and it felt like a fight every single time. So I just felt like the shampoo really helped it come out gently, and it smelled amazing.
Oh, good.
Because chicks are what the hell are you doing to me? I'm only 3 days old.
Totally.
Why are you dunking my ass into some water? And then with a blow dryer, they're like, what the hell is this?
Oh my gosh, that video of your little chick and how you had to hold it up, I was like, that thing is going to blow away if you let go. It was so cute.
Well, it was funny because at first she hated it, but then she started just to kind of stand there and like it, and I was like, oh, I gotta get this on tape because this is just Instagram gold. People are gonna think this is so cute. So, yeah, they all kind of got used to the blow dryer after a while. So you gotta start that spa day super young.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because when I was coming up, excuse me, with the shampoos, I had to do lavender after I researched lavender oil with chickens. And then the chicks, I went through this phase of I had my chicks and then a friggin' stupid coyote jumped my fence and took off with one of them. So I was just, it was horrible. But we went and got more chicks, and this time, around, they did have pasty butt. And so I was like, and knowing that is a deadly thing, and it's not to be taken lightly, It was that same thing. And lemongrass, it's just like lavender, can be calming and it smells fabulous. And it is another insect repellent and all that kind of thing. It is like the same ingredients. So you can really people use either on chicks or chickens. It's mainly just the oil, the scents that I distinguish the two. But all of my products are crazy. I mean, they're all really, really mild and gentle. So I've used it on my hedgehog, our guinea pig,
Oh,
all of that kind
wow.
of stuff. So yeah, you can use it on chicks, and they smell like little like lemon pie puffs.
They do.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like shoving my nose in their booties, like just inhaling. I'm like, oh, you smell fine. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, did you just launch the tea tree oil one shampoo as
Yes.
well? When did that come about?
Oh dear God. Like I'm so crazy excited about the tea tree because my envision for this was to like I said, just test the first two shampoos just to see if there was an interest in chicken shampoo. And I don't know, like it became more than and it always has been. I'm pretty like emotionally connected to people and process and all of that kind of stuff. So when the Instagram family that I'm sure you guys will both agree is over the moon amazing. Like I just have met the most amazing, oh my gosh, people on Instagram that have just been so encouraging to me and what I'm doing, and that I'm a small business owner and I'm literally, putting money into something and that I don't even know if there's an interest in. When I saw there was, like I said, I did that first phase to see if there was an interest with the knowing that I'm going to be launching more scents down the road. Tea tree was for sure the next one I wanted to go after because tea tree is such an amazing essential oil and so, so good for humans and animals alike. So it had to be tea tree for my third scent coming out. I wanted something too that it does not kill mites, but it is certainly something. Mites hate tea tree. So if you are bathing a chicken and it is prone to mites, if you keep up on it, it could potentially help with that, with just warding off mites. And I did a lot of research specifically on that oil, and mites for chickens was always the number one thing that I saw come up when it came to tea
Huh.
tree. Yeah, so it was definitely a winner for me. But we do have a couple more scents coming up that will launch down the road. We certainly have other products that we're coming up with, and I am friggin' punching myself in the face that I cannot tell you about the one that we're going to be hopefully launching.
Oh
I am not even joking. I am not even joking. It is like the funnest thing. I so I'm really excited about this. It's not a shampoo, but it's something else that is spa-like for your chicken
no.
that
Ooh.
will hopefully help with bumblefoot. It will help with, yeah,
Oh.
it will help with chickens that are egg bound, that are not feeling well, and all that kind of stuff. All I will say is that Messy Mildred is putting a modern twist on the salt bath. So I am
Ooh.
so stupid excited. I have been working, I literally was driving and I had the intentions of coming up with some type of salt, Epsom salt bath, but like just more intensely focused on specifically chickens rather than people going to Walmart and grabbing a big bag of Epsom salt. Like
Yeah.
something that is really dedicated to the chicken, and what are some extra things we can add to this to help with other issues they may have. And I had a hen Tootsie that passed a few months ago, and I was giving her salt baths 2 to 3 times a day. She ended up dying, but during
Oh.
that time, I 2 to 3 times a day for her, and I as I get older, am taking salt baths constantly because I'm an old bag. I'm not. I'm only 40s ish, but I
Oh.
feel like it. I feel like it. And so I know what that feels like, and I know that chickens, again, farmers have been using Epsom salt for years and years and years and years and years, and everyone's using it. So I'm like, how do we put a modern twist on this? So we have been working for 2 months now on a really fun but insanely useful, again, just all plant-based organic product that I think people are going to just really get a kick out of.
Well,
And
I
that's all
can't
I'm saying.
wait.
That's
I
all I'm
can't wait.
saying.
Well, can you give us like an estimated time of arrival of this product so we know? Like, obviously, we're going to be stalking your Instagram account every day
Yay!
now,
Oh
You're
yeah.
so
but
cute.
but
Absolutely. We
but
are,
yeah.
yeah, we are hoping the end of August, if not September.
Ooh.
And it certainly is, there's one thing I've noticed with the shampoo is people say, like, you don't really want to use it in the winter. And because or if it's too cold or whatever, because your chicken get a chill and blah blah blah. I still use it only, but I make sure they're dry by the time they go back out.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've
But
blow
this
dried many a chicken.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. And mine all love blow dried. Like the blowout is the best part for the chicken. Like mine are all like sitting back smoking a cigarette, like just enjoy. They love it. But this product is something you can literally use because again, it's medicinal. So you're using it all year long. And so I'm hoping to launch it no later than September. Where right now the product is like been perfected. Oh my god, it's so stupid cute. And so now I'm like working on the packaging for it. So we're crazy close, and I can't wait to show you guys. It's so much fun.
Oh well, we will definitely be keeping an eye out for that.
Yeah, we'll have to order some as soon as it comes out and talk about it on one of our future episodes.
Yeah.
So, Kathee, is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners as far as about you or your products or your chickens?
I think the only other thing would be like one of the questions I get a lot is where we're selling Messy Mildred, and it really is just Instagram right now in my website. One of the reasons for that is I just adore our Instagram family, and it has been so much fun providing this product for them and seeing pictures come in of people, kind of bonding with their chicken during spa day and all of that kind of fun stuff. It has just been so, so cool. And I've had other business owners step in alongside and just mentor me on what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, and all that kind of stuff. It's just been unbelievable. And so I personally, like if there's anyone listening from that world, I am so grateful and thankful. Like I said, Facebook is a totally different monster. When I go over there, I get a lot of pushback and, a lot of, it's just totally different. And it's like,
It is, yeah.
like it's, and I'm a pretty, I'm like, can't we all just love each other? Can't we all just like lift each other up and hug?
Right,
But
yeah.
you kind of, and I won't say everyone's like that, but Instagram is just a totally different place. And when it comes down to, I'm not a big corporation or company. It's just me. I'm the only one, doing all of this. My sister has been helping with this as well. It's just us, and we're hoping it continues to grow, and and two, like I'm not at least for Instagram, like I'm not there to just sell. It really is. I have, like I said, just this. I'm in that phase of just back and forth with people and learning their questions and what they want and what they don't want and what they need. And finding out, there's a lot of, oh my dear God, like so many amazing people that are doing really cool things with chickens. There's one girl that is near me out here in Seattle. Lives on one of the islands. She is Jen Seattle on Instagram. She's just one of the people that takes her chickens in. His name is Finley, which is also my son's name. So I was very excited about that. But takes, Finley into retirement homes and like senior homes and does therapy chicken work with the seniors there. And
Oh,
that's
that's
so
so
cool.
cool.
it is. It's just like really, it's really cool to meet these people and to be part of that. She uses the shampoo to fluff them up and clean them up so they smell yummy when they go in. Yeah, so it's so much more than just selling shampoo. It's really become like just I just have such a heart for it, but more so the people that are purchasing it, and learning their story. It has just opened up this whole other world to me. So I'm so thankful for that part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, Bev and I have had similar conversations before about Facebook versus Instagram, and
What do you
it's
guys
just
like? What is your view on that? What is
so.
happening? Why are they mean? Why are they mean?
Well, I feel like Instagram is just so different compared to Facebook because on Facebook you have people you might not know, people you know mostly. If you're at a business and you're putting yourself out there, people they are like keyboard warriors and they're assholes. And
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like with Instagram, like you are who you are on there and you're sharing your life in pictures, which is really intimate and kind of vulnerable in some ways. Like, of course, you have the accounts on there where no animal ever dies on their farm. Like,
Yeah.
they just don't present themselves that way, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like with Bev and I, we're both very open about, our failures on the podcast and on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think having that level of vulnerability makes people know, like, and trust you in a different way. So they do want to buy from you when you're doing something. Like, it kind of floors both of us that people order barware from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just like to listen to us, which is just bizarre because, I don't know, we're probably obnoxious to, most of the population, but to our chicken family.
Not. No, you're not.
But people, like you were saying, people do look at you kind of strange when you're like, oh yeah, I have pet chickens. They're like, what? Like,
Yes.
you're not going to eat them? Like,
Totally.
Well,
and I think that what is so beautiful about Instagram is the people that do eat their chickens and pluck them and all that, and they're posting it. Like, I think there's still a respect from people who don't do that.
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was
Yeah.
checking on Facebook, one of the pages that I follow, and it was a man, and he was so sweet because one of his chickens died, and he was posting on their picture of it and how sad he was. This is like a grown ass man, but I love that he was like so, like you were saying, like so vulnerable, because he was saying he cried, and how
Yeah.
someone on Facebook actually made a rude remark, and it hurt him, and I was like, I have never, when someone's chicken passes on Instagram, I have never seen someone say, suck it up, it's a chicken, or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
people are so, like, just so amazingly compassionate and different in both ways. Like, both ways, saying good for you that you're sustainable and you're feeding your family with your chickens, but at the same time, I'm so sorry that your pet chicken died. Like,
Right.
it's so different. And so I'm kind of scared. I'm like scared to go outside of Instagram, because I get rude comments all the time in Facebook about my shampoo, like, and people just making fun of it. And that's okay. It's like, it's not for you, but you know what? My people are in Instagram world. So
And if you have haters, that means you've made it.
That's true.
So-
Sam and I have said that a lot.
Yeah.
it's
So that
true.
just means you're doing something that, it's making people pay attention, and maybe the attention isn't always positive when it's projected towards you, but it's still attention.
True.
So you're
True,
doing
yeah.
something that is like rocking the boat. And in our opinion, or I shouldn't speak for Bev, but I'm guessing since she agreed to have you on the podcast, in our opinion, it is, something that's really cool. And I'm thankful that you've, stepped out and had the courage to create something that, you didn't know there was necessarily a market for. Like, you're kind of a badass. So
Oh my gosh,
Cheers to
I am.
you.
Yeah, because you're the first
in
to
there,
create
girl.
a chicken shampoo. Like, that's pretty ballsy. Like, not a lot of people are stepping out and like doing something different. They're, they're doing products or things that are already out there instead of doing something
Right.
new. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get a badass T-shirt.
You need one.
Speaking of badass, I am so gonna. Speaking of that, like, have you guys read the book "You Are a Badass"?
I have, and I've read You're a Badass at Making Money.
Shut it.
So I need
Okay.
both of
Very
those
good.
books. So I'll add those to my
Okay.
Amazon wish list.
See, I am telling you, I am a huge. This book is one of the, and I say that because I'm holding it right now because I was sitting behind my laptop as my Bible. It is one of the main reasons I started this chicken shampoo, because especially for women, you have to read it. Like, you have to read this book because when you were just talking about like the badass part and knowing the intention, no matter what it is, oh my gosh, no matter what it is, whether it's a product or quitting your job and going off and starting this whole new life, or even down to cutting your hair and dyeing it a funky color. Like there are people that won't think outside their box because of that fear that whether family or
Right.
friends or, whatever puts in your head. And this was certainly, like I said, I got laughed at by many, many very close people and friends and all of that when I said I was going to do this. And I've always kind of pushed back anyway because I'm stubborn. But this book was one of those things that I read and I'm like, why wouldn't I do this? Like, why would I not try it? And if it doesn't take off or people aren't interested, that's totally okay. Like I did something really fun and that was fulfilling passionate wise and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, when you just said badass, that triggered my book. For sure.
Yeah, so
For
and now I
sure.
feel like I have to re-listen to it because I'm more of an audiobook fan because
Oh,
I
is
like
it on
to
audiobook?
multitask.
I'll definitely get
Yeah,
it
you
on
can
the
do that.
audiobook because I mow for 10 hours a week. So
Ugh. You'll finish it in like one sitting then.
perfect.
Oh my gosh, yeah, mine is like torn up and it's so marked up on just quotes and everything else. Yeah, I go back to it constantly just to be encouraged and reminded of people that are going to say things and push back and just
Right.
and that's totally okay, but that's their mess. Like just
Yeah.
be present in your own head and what you want to do and why you're doing it. And I have no harm intentions. I have like no greediness here. It's just I thought it would be fun and I think it's important and I needed it. So
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of the times when people lash out like that, it says so much more about them than it does you. And
yeah,
your badassery is just stirring up some level of jealousy or irritation or lack thereof on their end. So that's not your fault. Like,
that's right.
can't dim your light because somebody else is being rude about
Or
it.
some of it might be that they just don't know like how important it is to wash your chicken. Like somebody
Yeah.
that lives
Right.
somewhere really dry where it doesn't get dirty very often, like that's a person that might not really need to wash their chicken very often because they have dust and chickens naturally use dust baths. But like you're in Seattle where it rains and it's muddy and it's gross all the time, so their dust bath isn't
Yeah.
always dry for them to like do their
Right.
natural thing that they would do. So like bathing them makes perfect sense.
And for people that are like legit farmers with chickens, no, I don't see them bathing their chicken. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
not that demographic.
Yeah, no, yeah, this
Right.
product is not for them.
Oh my gosh, no. But like there's a whole other like breed of person that had like I call it the urban chicken owner, that does do this and
Oh, yeah,
bringing
yeah.
their and that's okay. And I think that we could all coexist in this world together. The people that farm with their chickens, and then other people that want to fluff them up and bring them into Home Depot with them, like totally different.
Well, and it's funny. I'm one of
Right.
those people that kind of walks both worlds because I do. I raised my meat chickens for the first time this year and processed them myself. But I also have a coop of like pet chickens, and they're my pet chickens. I would never eat my egg-laying chickens. Like they don't come in the
Right.
house, and I don't take them to Home Depot because like my nearest town is 30 minutes from me, so I don't get to take my chickens very far. But they're definitely pets. Like they eat out of our hands. We pick them up and we hold them. They follow us around. Like, yeah, we would never eat one of them.
Right.
Yeah. I tried to take one of my silky chickens to see Santa last year at Rural King.
Oh, goodness.
And like she got a bath and everything, and we did a cute little Grubblies photo shoot in front of the fireplace, and then we drove her to Rural King, and Santa was sick, so he left early, and we just missed out.
That's so sad.
She was so disappointed. So at least this time, like next Christmas, we will take her, and she'll smell like lavender.
Oh my
So-
gosh, there you go. There
So
you
we'll
go.
try again this year.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, and that's one of the reasons too. I wanted to make sure this was organic because most people, for the most, as far as research I've done, that are doing sustainable living, and I think too, like I'm in Seattle, so I think a lot of city chickens. Like that is the grid I'm thinking through. Like urban, small backyards, you're allowed to have 2 to 3 chickens, house chickens, that kind of thing. the one of the other big things is we really do try to stick with organic. So we're like putting up extra money for organic feed and organic food and all that kind of stuff. And especially for our hens, I do that because I really want organic eggs. And so I was like, I want to be bathing my already, for the most part, organic chickens in organic products, so that when they come out, they truly are getting we're getting a really good organic egg. And so that was another, for egg layers, a huge reason also why I created this. So yeah, it's good all around, I think.
Your chickens are absolutely living the high life, it sounds like, over there in Seattle.
Oh my gosh, they get the bubbly all the time. And my neighbors think it's very odd because our neighbors right next door are from Mongolia, and they often, when I'm doing my photo shoots in the backyard with my chickens, and I seriously have like there was one where I took a pancake and she is on a blow up swan and she is floating around my pond that we have, a very small pond in the backyard. And my neighbor from Mongolia, who strictly only eats chickens, is like looking out staring at me. I could see her through the window. So, but she knows me. Like she's, but at the same time, she didn't know she didn't know I saw her like watching, and I was so embarrassed. But I'm like, you know what? I am who I am, and yes, I bathe them and I let them float around and they sunbathe. I'm sorry, that's what they do. So it was pretty cute. I often get that, like, people watching, like my neighbors mainly, and they're just like, what the freak is Kathee doing with her chicken in the backyard? And I've got pinwheels and fluffy things all set up outside. But anyway.
Well, I walk around muttering with 2 bottles of wine in my hand, and the chicken's following him around trying to do photo shoots too, so I totally get it. My neighbor lays on his back deck with his shirt off and watches me, so I don't know who's more weird, the one watching me or me.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's so funny.
So, Kathee, that's a pretty funny chicken story. Do you have any other chicken stories, anything weird or awkward that you'd like to share further?
The only other thing I would think of, and it's not awkward if you're me, but it's awkward if you're not me. Like my poor husband, like he's so super awesome, but he is often embarrassed because I'm like, oh, I'm bringing pancake, I'm bringing Mildred, and he's like, why do we have to do this? Like, why do you have to bring them everywhere? And I'm like, suck it. Like, you married me, you knew that I would bring my animals everywhere, so this is what's happening. So like we like I said, when we went camping in Mount Rainier, and she came with us, and it was absolutely amazing, like just sitting around the campfire, and our 2 boys get a kick out of it too, like having our chickens with us everywhere. But I'm like, why would you not want to wake up and have 2 fresh eggs for breakfast while we're camping? Like, why would you not want that? Anyway, but a couple weeks ago, my brother-in-law was here, and he's from Idaho, and they are like huge animal killers, like they, in a good way, like they do like deer and game and fish and all that kind of stuff. So they're not used to me with my fluffy chickens and bringing them in the house. They're like, I don't understand this. And so we went on a hike, and I brought them, and I brought 2 of my chickens, and we brought Daisy and Pancake, and I have a dog backpack that I shoved the 2 of them down
I was just
in.
getting ready to ask, do they hike on their own or do you carry them? But I love that.
Like on little leashes?
Oh my gosh. Well, they're stupid cute. They go inside this little doggy backpack that I have for my Pomeranian. And then, of course, I make her walk. I'm like, suck it. Like, you're on the ground. Chickens are up here. And then, like, we stop along the way. This one path has this great creek that we will stop, and they get out, and they literally, like, drink this fresh water, from the creek, and they cool off and all that. And then I put them back in the bag and the backpack, and they shove their heads out. And my husband gets so embarrassed because hikers, like, these are legit Seattle, like Pacific Northwest hikers that are all like decked out in REI, and I'm walking by with chickens, and there's people that usually point and laugh. Some people want pictures. But for the most part, I probably look like a crazy person. Like I'm a cat. Like there's cat ladies and then there's chicken ladies now, I guess. They take their chickens everywhere with them. And so we'll, hike down and then we get down to the sound where the water is and they get out and they go bananas over like the oyster shell that's all cracked up from the waves coming in. It's all broken down in the seaweed and yeah, people are like, why is this happening? Why are there two chickens like in the middle of Seattle, like sitting out here on the sound right now? They don't quite understand that. My entire family's embarrassed, but again, I don't care.
That's so cute though. Like they have to be so happy and they're living their best life because you're not afraid to take them with you. So,
and I always wonder because like our dogs, look, they get legit happy when you put them in the car and they're freaking out and they're panting, but they look like they're smiling and they're happy. I always wonder that with my chickens because I'm always like, do you get how cool you are right now? Like, do you get, like most people, they're just going to put you in a coop and you're not going to get out. But I don't know. I am here, dang it, you guys, to break the stereotype. I know there's already that one, what is his sweet name? Sam the chicken, I think, that like, there's a guy with this amazing chicken that goes everywhere with him.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to
I'll have to
look
find that.
I don't think so.
I'll find it on Instagram and I'll link it in the show notes.
Okay, I think it's Sam the chicken, but it's like I don't want to get all emotional, but I really do think there is like such and I know most of this is just like for the person, the individual themselves. Chickens don't give a rip. They just want leftover spaghetti. But like a person, like there's just this really cool aspect and bonding when you get to bring your pets. And I'm like, and why not chickens to go with you on places? And one of them is, like I said, this guy, Sam, like he takes his sweet, stupid, cute chicken with him everywhere. And he's this guy probably in his, I would say early 40s, late 30s, and it's like the sweetest thing ever. But I don't know. I think that we can be doing much more with our chickens like we do with our dogs.
Well, it's not chickens' fault that they have like resting bitch face. Like my chickens always look really unhappy. It doesn't matter what I'm doing for them. They are always giving me the side eye and judging me. So I think that's just the way their faces are made. On the inside, though, they're like screaming for joy. They just can't express it. They don't have the muscles to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, so true. I have one chicken that looks at me like that, and I'm like, looks at me like I'm a sheer disappointment.
Yep.
Like, I hate everything about you. You do everything wrong. This is how my chicken looks at me. And it's like the sweetest. They do. They totally have resting bitch face. That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Well, and now we can call it resting beak face. And we'll know what it's called.
Shut, girl. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's amazing. Yes. That's good.
Well, Kathee, we've had so much fun with you today, and I didn't know that I could learn so much about chicken shampoo in like less than an hour while drinking alcohol.
Right.
But this was definitely like, we're recording on a Friday, and this is the perfect end to a week. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh my gosh.
We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, dear. This has been so much fun. Again, I'm so thankful and honored, and you guys are great.
Oh, well, thank you. So much love. Much love.
So much. It's shooting all the way from Seattle over to your faces. So thank
you. I love it.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. It's Drink and Dirty Birds, where we learned all about why you should be using shampoo on your chickens. And a huge thank you to Messy Mildred for coming and being on our show. And we hope that you guys will visit her Instagram page. I'll have that link in the show notes so that you can check out her shampoo and see if that's something that you want to do also.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Check her out on Facebook and leave her kind messages and help her ward off all the assholes. Because, you know, my favorite thing to say is don't be a dick. So let's ward off the dicks with all the positive vibes. Sam should have had some more lunch before she put alcohol on her stomach. Apparently, she's feeling a little silly, a little appropriate. But
that's all right.
Anyways, thank you, thank you guys for listening to this episode. We love and appreciate you all so much.
Bye.
Bye.